It was supposed to be a tragic accident. A late-night fall from the rooftop of an upscale apartment building. No witnesses, no signs of struggle, just a broken body on the pavement below. The police called it a suicide. Friends whispered about stress. Family mourned. But when security footage surfaced, footage that hadn't been mentioned before, everything changed. Because what the video showed wasn't a man jumping. It was a man being pushed. And the person standing behind him? No one recognized her. Now Detective Marcus Hale is back on the case he thought was closed. With pressure from the mayor, threats from powerful figures, and a city that wants to forget, Hale must uncover the truth buried beneath lies, corruption, and a secret someone would kill to protect. Because the deeper he digs, the more he realizes. This was never about one death. It was about how many people were willing to let it happen. Elliot Brooks had everything going for him. A rising star in finance, a luxury condo, and a girlfriend who adored him. But on a stormy Tuesday night, Elliot was found dead at the base of the Silverstone Towers, a high-rise known for its elite residents. The official report said he jumped. But his sister, Naomi, refused to believe it. She knew Elliot, he was ambitious, not suicidal. Detective Marcus Hale reviewed the file briefly. No signs of foul play. No witnesses. Case closed. Until she came forward, Naomi Brooks sat across from Hale in the precinct, eyes swollen from sleepless nights. She insisted something was off. He texted me 5 minutes before he died, she said. He said, I think someone's following me. Hale flipped through the police report again. Nothing about texts. Nothing about paranoia. He promised Naomi he'd look into it, but deep down he doubted there was anything to find. Still, curiosity gnawed at him. So he asked for the security footage. That's when things got weird. The security tapes from the rooftop should have shown everything. But when Hale requested them, the manager said they were corrupted. Routine maintenance. Coincidence. Too many coincidences. So Hale went to the backup server himself. And there, hidden under a mislabeled date, was a file labeled roof_47. He clicked it open. What he saw chilled him. Not Elliot falling, but someone else walking toward the edge moments before the scream. Someone wearing a black hoodie. And then the screen cut out. Just like that. Hale rewound the footage 10 times. Every time the same thing happened. The hooded figure approached the ledge, looked down, then vanished seconds before Elliot hit the ground. But who were they? He sent the image to facial recognition. No match. Then to the building's tenant list. No one matched the description. He questioned the security guard. You didn't see anyone? I told you already. No one goes up there unless they've got access. Only tenants had access. Which meant whoever did this lived in the building. Or someone gave them the code. Hale dug into the logbook for the rooftop access panel. Most entries were routine, maintenance workers, occasional parties. But one name stood out, D. Whitmore. No such tenant existed. He checked the system again. The entry was timestamped at 11:47 p.m., the exact time Elliot fell. Hale confronted the building manager. Who's D. Whitmore? The man paled. That's impossible. That name hasn't been used in years. Used by who? The owner. The owner of Silverstone Towers was Victor Langston, a billionaire real estate mogul with ties to politicians, celebrities, and maybe even organized crime. Hale tried to reach him. No response. He dug deeper. Langston had owned the building for over a decade. But in those early years there were rumors of disappearances, of silenced voices. One name kept coming up, D. Whitmore. A former employee who vanished after filing a harassment claim. Langston denied any involvement. But now her name had returned. From the grave? Or from someone using her identity? Hale tracked down the old HR files from the building's construction phase. There she was, Danielle Whitmore, 28, intern property assistant. She had filed a complaint about inappropriate behavior from Langston. 2 weeks later she disappeared. Her car was found abandoned near the river. No body. No evidence. Langston claimed she left town voluntarily. But Hale wasn't convinced. And now her name had reappeared in the most suspicious way possible. Had someone used her access code as a ghost? Or was Danielle still alive? If so, where had she been all these years? While searching Langston's office during a warrant raid, Hale noticed something odd. A bookshelf that didn't match the others. When he pressed it, it swung open, revealing a narrow staircase leading up to a hidden room on the roof level, accessible only through the penthouse. Inside was a small lounge, a bed, and a computer. On the screen, live feeds from every camera in the building, including the rooftop. Hale stared at the footage again. This time he saw something new. The hooded figure paused before pushing Elliot, as if hesitating, as if they knew they were being watched. Hale pulled up the logs on the hidden computer. It had recorded hours of footage, some of which showed tenants arguing, sleeping, even changing clothes. Langston had been spying on everyone. But why? More disturbingly, Hale found a folder labeled Project Echo. Inside were photos of Elliot, text messages between Elliot and an unknown number, and a final message. Tell anyone and you'll fall. Elliot had ignored the warning and paid the price. But who was behind Project Echo? Langston? Or someone else pulling the strings? Hale took the evidence to his captain. Langston was arrested within 24 hours. But the media painted it differently. Billionaire arrested over old scandal. Langston's lawyers worked fast. Bail granted. Charges reduced. Naomi Brooks received a threatening letter. Drop it. Hale began receiving anonymous calls. You're digging too deep. But the biggest shock came when a familiar face walked into the precinct. The hooded figure. Only now she lowered her hood. And Hale recognized her. She was someone he'd trusted for years. His partner. The investigation had taken a shocking turn. The person Hale trusted most was involved. And worse, she had answers. Why Elliot died. Who ordered it. And what Project Echo really was. But she wouldn't talk, unless Hale agreed to do something unthinkable. Something that could cost him everything. Hale stared at his partner, Detective Lila Reyes, as if seeing her for the first time. She had worked beside him for 5 years. Late nights, brutal cases, and shared silences over coffee in the precinct break room. But now she stood before him, hoodie pulled back, eyes cold and unflinching. I didn't kill him, she said softly. But I know who did. Hale reached for his sidearm instinctively. You were on that rooftop. She nodded. I was sent there to make sure he jumped. A chill ran through Hale's spine. By who? She hesitated. Then whispered a name that made the room tilt beneath him. The name left her lips like poison. Mayor Richard Calloway. Hale's jaw tightened. He knew the mayor. They'd met at charity events, ribbon cuttings. A man who smiled for cameras and shook hands with cops like they were props. But this was different. Lila handed him a flash drive. This proves it. Conversations. Payments. Orders. Hale plugged it in. The files opened like a nightmare. Text logs between Calloway and Langston. References to Project Echo. And one chilling message. Make sure Brooks doesn't talk. Silence him permanently. Langston had been just a pawn. Calloway was the king. Hale dug deeper into the mayor's background. What he found wasn't just corruption. It was a full-scale criminal empire masquerading as civic leadership. Calloway had ties to construction companies skimming public funds, real estate moguls laundering money, and even organized crime groups moving drugs through the docks. Project Echo was his insurance policy. Blackmail. Bribery. Threats. Elliot Brooks had stumbled onto something big, something that could bring the whole system down. So they silenced him. And now Hale was next. Unless he played along. That night Hale got a call. No caller ID. Just a voice. Detective Hale. We know what you've seen. We know what you're thinking. Hale gripped the phone. Who is this? Doesn't matter. What matters is this. Step away from the case. Walk away clean. And your life stays the same. And if I don't? Pause. You won't recognize the world tomorrow. Then silence. Hale looked at Lila. We need to go public. She shook her head. Not yet. We don't have enough. He needed proof. Something undeniable. Something that couldn't be buried. Naomi Brooks called Hale early the next morning. They took him, she said, barely able to breathe. Oh, took who? The guy Elliot was working with. His name was Jordan Cruz. He was going to meet me last night. He never showed. Hale rushed to Cruz's apartment. It was ransacked. Computer gone. Files missing. But under the bed, Hale found something strange. A small recorder. He pressed play. Jordan's voice. If you're hearing this, I'm already dead. But I have proof. Proof that Elliot was about to expose Project Echo. Proof that Calloway's been using the city like a piggy bank. Meet me at the old train yard tonight. Come alone. Hale looked at the date. Last night. The train yard was long abandoned, rusted tracks snaking through weeds and broken glass. Hale arrived just after midnight, gun drawn. He moved slowly, scanning the shadows. Then he heard it. Footsteps. He turned fast, but too late. A figure lunged from behind. Hale spun, blocking the strike. It was Cruz. Alive. Bruised. Bleeding. They tried to kill me, he gasped. I faked my disappearance. He handed Hale a USB drive. This has everything. Financial records. Encrypted messages. Video evidence. Hale took it. Then Cruz whispered, "Don't trust anyone." The shot rang out. Cruz dropped. Hale dove for cover. Someone was watching. Waiting. Hale crawled low, heart pounding. The shot had come from the second floor of the old ticket office. He moved silently, climbing the stairs. Inside he found the sniper's perch, a broken window, shell casing still warm. No sign of the shooter. But on the ground, a black glove. And a note taped to the wall. "Stop digging. Or we'll stop you." Hale clenched his jaw. He couldn't stop now. Not when he was so close. Not when Cruz had died trying to give him the truth. He clutched the USB drive tighter. Time to go public. Hale went to the press. He released everything: Project Echo, the mayor's involvement, the blackmail, the murders. Within hours, the story broke nationwide. Social media exploded. Protests formed outside City Hall. Callaway denied everything, but the damage was done. People wanted answers. The governor stepped in. An independent investigation was launched. But Hale knew this wasn't over. Because someone had to be pulling the strings above Callaway. And the only way to find them was to follow the money. Hale worked with financial investigators to trace the flow of funds tied to Project Echo. It led to offshore accounts, dummy corporations, and shell companies. One name kept popping up: the Blackthorn Group, a private equity firm with no known headquarters. But Hale recognized the logo from a meeting he'd once attended, an elite police fundraiser hosted by none other than Mayor Callaway. There he'd met a woman. Sure. Intelligent. Dangerous. Her name? Elena Voss, CEO of Blackthorn, and possibly the true mastermind behind everything. Elena Voss was a legend in business circles. Philanthropist. Investor. Genius. But behind closed doors? She controlled more than money. She controlled people. Hale watched footage of her speaking at a conference. Her words were inspiring. Her smile dazzling. But her eyes? Cold. Calculating. He read her bio again. Born in Eastern Europe. Immigrated young. Built her empire from nothing. But how? He dug deeper. Found connections to Russian oligarchs. Arms deals. Cybercrime rings. She wasn't just funding Project Echo. She was Project Echo. And now Hale had her attention. Which meant he was in danger. Very soon. The conspiracy stretched further than Hale ever imagined. From a simple fall to a global network of power, lies, and death. Now Elena Voss had noticed him. And that was dangerous. Because when the queen sees a pawn moving against her, she doesn't negotiate. She removes the piece. Hale didn't wait for Elena Voss to come for him. He disappeared that night. Changed his phone. Burned his ID. Took only what he could carry. Lila helped, giving him a burner and a safe house in the outskirts of the city. "You've got maybe 48 hours before they find you," she warned. He nodded. "That's all I need." His plan? To leak the full truth. Not just to the press but to the world. But first he needed one more piece of the puzzle. The final link between Elena Voss and Callaway. And it was hidden where no one would look. Inside the mayor's personal vault. Hale broke into City Hall at 3 a.m. Using blueprints from an old case, he bypassed security through a maintenance tunnel. Inside Callaway's private office, he found the vault behind a painting of the city skyline. It took him 20 minutes with a lockpick set borrowed from an old informant. Inside were documents, photos, and a single hard drive labeled Project Echo Final Phase. Hale copied everything. Then he saw something chilling. A list of names. His was on it. Next to the words, "Neutralized by any means necessary." The list wasn't just names. It was a hit list. People who had gotten too close to Project Echo. Elliot Brooks. Jordan Cruz. Danielle Whitmore. Others Hale didn't recognize, reporters, whistleblowers, even a former judge. Some marked as neutralized. Others still pending. One name made Hale's blood run cold. Naomi Brooks. She was next. Hale called Lila immediately. "She's not answering," she said. "I'm coming for her." Naomi lived in a downtown apartment near the river. When Hale arrived, the door was open. Furniture overturned. Glass shattered. No sign of her. Just a note on the fridge. "She's safe for now. If you want to keep it that way, meet us." Attached was an address. An abandoned warehouse near the docks. Hale knew it well. Used to be a smuggling route during the Cold War. Now, it was perfect for a trap. Still, he had no choice. Hale moved slowly through the warehouse. Gun drawn. Heart pounding. He whispered into his earpiece. Lila, are you reading me? Static. Then her voice barely audible. I'm here. You're not alone in there. He scanned the darkness. Then a spotlight snapped on, blinding him. A voice echoed through the space. You should have walked away, Hale. Elena Voss stepped forward, flanked by 2 armed guards. Naomi stood behind them, bound and bruised. Voss smiled. You have something we want. The truth? Hale asked. No. The drive. Hale looked at Naomi. She shook her head subtly. Don't do it. But if he didn't? Voss would kill her. I'll give you the drive, Hale said. Let her go first. Voss clapped slowly. So noble. So predictable. She nodded to one of her men. The guard released Naomi. She stumbled forward, coughing. Hale reached for her. Then, a gunshot. Naomi screamed. Hale turned. One of Voss's men lay dead. The other was bleeding. From the shadows, Lila emerged, pistol raised. Let's go, she shouted. Hale grabbed Naomi. They ran. They sprinted to the car. Lila drove. Tires screeched. Behind them, Voss's remaining men gave chase. Gunfire cracked through the night. Glass shattered. Naomi cried out. Lila swerved, taking a sharp turn into a back alley. They lost the pursuers after 3 blocks. Breathless, Hale checked Naomi. She was okay. Shaken. Bruised. But alive. He looked at Lila. What now? She handed him the flash drive. We release it all. They uploaded everything. Every file. Every recording. Every photo. Posted it to every major news site. Mirrored it across the dark web. Within minutes, the world exploded. Protests surged outside Blackthorn offices. Governments froze Elena Voss's assets. Calloway resigned. Langston was arrested again, this time for life. But Hale knew it wasn't over. Because Elena Voss hadn't been taken into custody. She vanished. Like smoke. And she wasn't done. Not yet. Interpol launched a global manhunt. She was gone. Flown out via private jet hours before the leak. Destination unknown. Hale watched a satellite map tracking known Blackthorn assets. One ship stood out. A luxury cruiser off the coast of Montenegro. He zoomed in. There she was. Smiling on the deck. Watching the chaos unfold. Unfazed. Unreachable. Yet Hale knew. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Back at the precinct, Hale sat in silence. The mayor was gone. Langston was locked up. Voss was on the run. But the system? Still intact. More mayors would rise. More kings would take thrones. Unless something changed. Lila walked in. They're calling you a hero. Hale scoffed. Heroes don't survive wars like this. She sat beside him. What now? He stared at the city skyline. Now we start the real fight. Because the footage had revealed the truth. But the battle? Was only beginning. The war is far from over. Elena Voss is still out there. And Hale knows that exposing corruption isn't enough. You have to destroy it. Hale packed light. No badge. No official clearance. Just a burner phone, a forged passport, and a list of names. Lila had helped him disappear again, this time from U.S. jurisdiction. Once you cross that border, she warned, there's no coming back. I don't plan to, he said. His destination? Montenegro. The last known location of Elena Voss. But before he could board the flight, he got a message. Not from Lila. From someone else. A name appeared on his burner screen. Danielle Whitmore. The woman who had supposedly vanished years ago. She was alive. And she wanted to talk. Hale met Danielle in a safe house outside Sarajevo. She looked older. Harder. But unmistakably real. You thought I was dead? She asked. I did, Hale admitted. She smirked. So did they. She explained how she'd faked her disappearance after uncovering Blackthorn's ties to international trafficking rings. They tried to kill me, she said. So I disappeared first. Now she was tracking Voss too. She's building something bigger than Project Echo, Danielle whispered. A network of influence. Control over governments, law enforcement, media. Hale frowned. How? She handed him a file. Inside were blueprints. Schematics. And a name. Project Pandora. Danielle flipped open the file. This is what she's really after, she said. Project Pandora was a covert surveillance initiative disguised as a defense contract. Blackthorn had partnered with a private tech firm to develop AI-driven facial recognition systems capable of identifying individuals in real time, across cities, countries, even continents. Combined with hacked satellite feeds and compromised government databases, It was more than just surveillance. It was control. If Voss activates it, Danielle said, she'll be able to track anyone, predict movements, silence dissent before it starts. Hale stared at the data. We have to stop this. They needed help breaking into the system. Enter Nikita Volkov, a former Russian cybercriminal turned whistleblower. Living off-grid in Prague, Nikita agreed to help, for a price. Give me immunity, he said. And access to my sister. She was being held in a secret detention facility in Bulgaria. Hale made calls, pulled strings, got her released. In return, Nikita decrypted the files. What he found shook them all. Project Pandora wasn't just a tool. It was already active. In 6 major cities, including New York. Hale watched the footage. Dozens of cameras scanning crowds. AI identifying targets. One by one, people flagged as potential threats were tracked, followed, and reported. Some were journalists. Others were activists. Many had been arrested without cause. This is worse than we thought, Danielle said. It's not just surveillance, Nikita added. It's suppression. Hale clenched his fists. We have to expose this. Nikita nodded. I can do better. He pulled up a terminal. I can shut it down. Nikita worked fast. Firewalls fell like dominoes. Security protocols bypassed. He reached the core command center. Once I hit enter, he said, Pandora will crash. But they'll know, Hale warned. They'll hunt us. Nikita smiled grimly. Then we better finish this fast. He typed the final command. Paused. Looked at Hale. Ready? Hale nodded. Do it. Nikita pressed enter. The screen blinked, then went black. The system was down. But not for long. Within minutes, alarms went off around the world. Blackthorn operatives scrambled. Voss was furious. She issued a global alert. Find the hackers. Kill them. Silence the leak. Hale and Danielle fled Prague under gunfire. Nikita vanished into the underground. They had won a battle, but the war was far from over. Interpol launched an investigation. The public learned the truth. Protests erupted. Governments demanded answers. But Voss didn't panic. She smiled. Because she had planned for this. She had a backup. Another version of Pandora. Already in motion. Hale intercepted a message from a mole inside Blackthorn. Voss had anticipated sabotage. So she created Pandora too, a decentralized, autonomous version of the system embedded within municipal infrastructure. Cameras, traffic lights, public Wi-Fi, even vending machines. It was everywhere. And it was learning, adapting, waiting. Danielle read the report. She's using the city itself as her eyes. Hale exhaled. We need to find the source. Nikita sent coordinates. One place, a forgotten Cold War bunker beneath Vienna, where it all began. The entrance was buried under layers of bureaucracy and decay. But Hale and Danielle found their way in. Using stolen credentials, they descended into the underground labyrinth. The deeper they went, the colder it got. Finally, they reached the core. Rows of servers humming softly. Red lights blinking like heartbeat monitors. A voice echoed through the speakers. Welcome, Detective Hale. Boss. Her face appeared on a monitor. I knew you'd come. Hale stepped forward. It's over, Voss. She smiled. Oh, Marcus. You still don't understand. I'm not afraid of you. No, she said softly. But you should be. Voss revealed everything. Pandora 2 wasn't just surveillance. It was a weapon. Capable of shutting down entire cities. Cutting off power. Freezing transportation. Disabling emergency services. All controlled remotely. I don't need to hide anymore, she said. The world will obey me or vanish. Hale lunged for the console. Voss laughed. Try to stop me and I activate it now. He froze. She leaned closer. This is your last chance, detective. Walk away. Or die trying. The stakes have never been higher. Elena Voss has the power to bring entire nations to their knees. Marcus Hale stands alone against an enemy who sees everything, knows everything, and fears nothing. The world is on the edge. A single command from Elena Voss could shut down entire cities, plunge nations into darkness, and erase any trace of resistance. Hale stands in the heart of her empire, beneath Vienna's forgotten Cold War bunker, surrounded by blinking servers and the cold hum of power. This isn't just about exposing the truth anymore. It's about stopping a system that watches everything. And a woman who believes she's untouchable. But Hale knows something she doesn't. Even queens can fall. I control the board, Voss said through the speakers. Every move you make, I see it. Hale stepped closer to the console. Then you know I'm not bluffing. You think you're a hero, she replied. You're just another pawn. Danielle moved silently behind him, scanning the room for an override switch or emergency kill code. There has to be a way to shut this thing down permanently, she whispered. Nikita's voice crackled through Hale's earpiece. There is. He sent coordinates to a terminal embedded deep in the core. If we access it before she activates Pandora 2, we can crash the whole system. Voss laughed. Try it, and I'll burn every city on my list. Hale looked at Danielle. We don't have a choice. Danielle sprinted toward the terminal. Guards emerged from hidden doors, Blackthorn operatives armed with silenced weapons. Gunfire erupted. Hale ducked behind a server rack, returning fire. Danielle dove across the floor, rolling behind the terminal. She slammed her hand on the panel. A warning flashed. Warning, termination will erase all data. System cannot be restored. She hesitated, then typed in the command. Do it. Hale shouted. She pressed enter. The lights flickered. The hum of the servers died. Pandora was gone. But so was their escape. Sirens screamed. Red lights flashed. Self-destruct sequence initiated, a robotic voice announced. Voss's face twisted in fury on the screen. You fools. You've doomed us all. Hale grabbed Danielle. Move. They ran through the darkened halls as explosions rocked the walls. Chunks of concrete fell. Wires sparked. Smoke filled the air. Behind them, Nikita guided them via comms. There's an emergency exit 200 meters ahead. They pushed forward. Then, a blast blocked the path. No way out. Except one. Lila appeared through the smoke. She held a grenade launcher. I cleared a path, she said. Now go. Hale shook his head. Not without you. She smiled sadly. You already did enough. She handed him a key drive. This has the full record of everything. Get it out there. Hale stared at her. No. She kissed him once. Then turned. Go. She fired into the corridor, drawing enemy fire. Hale and Danielle ran. As the door sealed behind them, they heard the final explosion. Silence. Then nothing. They crawled through the rubble, emerging into the night air. Vienna was quiet. Too quiet. Hale checked the drive. Still intact. Danielle coughed. We did it. No, he said. We survived. The war wasn't over. Voss was still alive. And Blackthorn had lost its leader, but not its reach. Interpol was closing in. But so were the ghosts. They needed to disappear again. Fast. They met with allies in Istanbul. Whistleblowers. Hackers. Journalists. Together they released the final files. Every secret. Every lie. The world watched as governments scrambled. Say, Mi-6. Mossad. All implicated. Voss's network crumbled. But she didn't die. She vanished. Again. Leaving only a message. I'll be waiting. Hale read it twice. Then burned the paper. The fallout was immediate. Mass resignations. Protests. Investigations. Hale became a fugitive. A traitor to some. A hero to others. He disappeared. Living off-grid. Waiting. Watching. Because he knew what most didn't. Corruption doesn't die. It evolves. And someone always takes the throne. Months later, Hale intercepted a message. A new player had risen. Young. Brilliant. Ruthless. Her name? Irina Volkov. Nikita's sister. Now running a new version of Project Echo. Smarter. Deadlier. More invisible. Hale stared at the photo. She was watching him. Tracking him. Preparing. He closed the laptop. Time to return. Hale re-entered the grid. He contacted Danielle. She agreed to help. They tracked Irina to Dubai. A new palace of power. A new empire built on lies. Hale stood at the edge of the city, looking up at the towers. History repeats itself, he muttered, then walked forward, ready to fight again. The footage had changed everything. It exposed the lie, gave a voice to the silenced, and proved that no one was untouchable. But the truth? It never dies. Just waits. For someone brave enough to find it, and strong enough to protect it. Marcus Hale lit a cigarette, looked at the skyline, and whispered, "They said it was an accident." He smiled. Until the security footage came out,